Does anyone else here hate the country they live in and wish they could leave? Yes, I'm in Lebanon and we are facing the worst economic crisis in our history, and it's actually one of the worst crises in the world since the 1850s. The political elites alongside banks stole all our deposits, whether they are in Lebanese pound or in USD. Right now we have fuel shortage to the point where we must wait in queue for at least 3 hours to fill up our cars with gas, and sometimes a day long in populated areas. And sometimes the station runs out of fuel when your turn comes. There are also queues for cooking gas, diesel for winter heaters, bread, governmental papers, etc. Add to that we have at least 12 hours of blackout because there's also not enough fuel for electricity, so we have to endure the heat and sweat and sleep on the balconies. CZ, it's impossible to fall asleep in such a weather without at least a fan. Electricity shortage is also causing food poisoning because food can no longer be stored properly, so eating is a huge risk. If you get sick, there are neither medicines in pharmacies, nor a hospital to welcome you. CZ, they also lack essential medical products. Moreover, prices of literally everything skyrocketed because our currency lost more than 90% of its value, thus more than half of the people are no longer able to afford their basic needs and became below the poverty line. Just a matter of time and the internet and telecommunications will shut down again because companies will run out of fuel sometime. All this happened within less than 2 years. Lebanon is no longer habitable and the political elite is corrupt, and it's impossible to change it right now because they still have supporters and armed thugs, and all the official armed forces are protecting them, while ordinary citizens are unarmed. I am leaving with my family as soon as I earn my master's degree. Fortunately, we withdrew all our money a few months before the crisis. Otherwise we could have never afford to leave. So sad to hear that it's gotten this bad. I hope it will get better somehow. I hate it here. People sucks. Country is crap. Salaries are trash and you are happy if you can pay rent and other stuff and out food on the table. I can't wait to set up the cards for myself to leave from here. Balkan Montenegro. If I ever leave the Balkans, I am never coming back again. Nekpuz Kurak SVI. Yes, I am from a Islamic country. The problem is I am not a Muslim. They are literally celebrating Taliban takeover. If they, extremist, take over our gov, we are f***ing dead. Even with a neutral government, last week some temple was destroyed by extremists. I'm born and raised Canadian and I feel incredibly privileged to call this my home. I want to travel and see the world, but I'd never want to live anywhere else. This is my paradise. We are very lucky. I friggin' love this country and I am so proud to be Canadian. I would scream that from the rooftops, LOL. Yes, I live in Denmark. I am privileged as frick. No doubt about that. And I know it's a shit show so many other places with crumbling economics, war or environmental factors, with people fighting to get food on the table or staying alive. I get a good wage. I have a home I can afford, free healthcare, pension, free education, and flush my crap in drinking water. But then there is the racism here and a government that slowly but surely are making it worse and worse, one decision at a time. As Danes we have the highest CO2 emissions per person and a growing polarization as a society, neglecting our welfare system, slowly turning the country with privatized institutions instead, selling our nature to private investors who just wants to make more money, not thinking about the people. Everything is about money, and it's nauseating, and everybody acts so woke and holy, being so hypocritical. Then the weather is crap. Hate is a strong word. I am British. I don't exactly not like my country. I do like my own country in its own way, even though it has issues it needs to work on that could improve life here. I would say however that I wish it was a bit easier to move to nations whose values you more align with, or where you could see yourself living a better life. In this world it seems only those with loads of money or those who are really well educated are able to do so. So it's a horrible feeling to just feel like you're stuck in this life. I'm in the UK and have wanted to leave for years now. I'm waiting for my son to be old enough and then I'm out. Lost all faith in this country and everything it represents, unfortunately. I feel left 4 years ago. Best decision I ever made. I don't hate it. I consider myself lucky. It is a developed country. I can go to school for a basic education. I can go to the hospital if I get sick. I can call the police if someone tries to harm me. If I ever struggle to get food, there are organizations to help me, etc. But the economy is fricked. Finding a job as a young person is almost impossible. Study to improve job prospects. Get rejected for lack of experience because you were studying. Don't get experience because you always get rejected. Politicians are too busy blaming each other instead of solving the various issues we have. We have no industry, so we depend entirely on tourism. I don't know if I'll ever have the chance to retire before 85, if at all. Old people blame young people for the situation, but the truth is we never really had a chance. I'll leave. I need a change and I don't see myself raising my kids in this environment. I do hate my hometown, though. I'm an old person, and I take full responsibility. I do not blame anyone else for the current state of affairs. My generation is the greediest, most self-centered, self-indulgent people of all, and worse yet, we've passed on those traits to the subsequent generations. Yes, the UK, it is crap, even before Brexit. That's why I left to Australia. Been back twice so far to visit. Reminded within 10 minutes why I hate it there so much. Just thinking about the place makes me pee off. Sadly, have family there still. Live in Bosnia. Had an opportunity to go to Australia in January 2020. Didn't go because I was scared of flying alone. Biggest freaking mistake of my life. Dude, come on. People do anything in their power to go to Australia and you just flushed it down the drain. I live in Italy. It's a wonderful country, with amazing cities, food, but I have to say it's okay just for tourists. If you live here 60% of your money must go to the state with taxes and stuff. Politics goes to the power without even being voted ADN. Free healthcare, free education is all bulls. Also, people living through this are going crazy. Italians are rude people, I swear. A wise man once told me that I should never look at a different field and think how much greener the grass is over there, because greener grass usually means higher loads of manure. Wonder how many Americans came to post, but read what other people are going through and thought, well, leaves. Californian here. Can't wait to get out of the States forever. Writing is on the walls. Rome is burning. Crap, my actual freaking state is burning more every year. Anyway, things are going downhill in the US. I want to get rich, then get out. I wouldn't base the entire US on how mismanaged California is. Yes, Mexico is lost and I don't want to live my life here. Currently I'm looking if I can study the college in Canada with the help of a scholarship, but I need to improve my English and at least understand my French. Mexico isn't the worst place to live, but I've lost my faith. There's so much insecurity. Right now we're having a wave of unemployment and the prices only go up. Your English is very good. I hope you can leave. Yes, the United States. Half the population is too selfish to wear a mask or get vaccinated. The poor are treated like garbage. It's become a police state. We have more people in prison than any other country. Substance abuse disorder gets you prison time instead of rehab. Teachers pay more in taxes than billionaires. Education is crap anyways. Honestly, the list goes on and on. I've been to other countries. I know what freedom feels like and this isn't it. I'd leave in a second if I could. Unfortunately, I'm poor and don't see that changing anytime soon. I don't hate my country. I served in the armed forces. I am pretty disappointed, however. I took an oath to protect the Constitution, and all anybody wants to do, it seems, is take other people's rights away. I'm in the US and I have lost so much faith in this country and its people. The last 4 years were a test and we failed miserably. We are so divided and at each other's throats. This can't last very long. The beginning of the downfall is here. My wife and I will retire outside of the US. It's already been discussed. It's a shame because I do love this country, but it's beyond reproach now. You're not wrong, man, the US is headed in a bad direction. This thread is depressing because every country seems to be crap according to here. The real answer is you always feel bad for what you get. For example, I'm an Indian. As much as I don't think this country is great, countries like Iraq, Afghanistan are obviously worse. And you also have people from UK America saying the country isn't good. That's just straight up false. The quality of life they have there is amazing. Yeah, I'm Iraqi and it's always a trip when reading about British people complaining about their country. Naturally there are ups and downs everywhere, but my god, it's so easy to take things for granted when you live in a country where everything is accessible. I love it. Can't tell where I live because if people start noticing this place, the paradise will end. All I can say, it's an island. Me. But also grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe not always for some, but this is probably the case for me. I don't hate my country, I'm rather proud of it, but I do wish I could just experience more and what the rest of the world has to offer. Not pleased with it, but living in a major city increased their quality of situation, and it's not bad enough to want to leave while sacrificing friends and family connection, but it's not good. I was about to start the ramble, but after reading through comments in this post made me realize that my country is not as bad as I thought it out to be, as other places seem to be worse off. Grateful. Nope, I love my country, but the other citizens and corrupt government are what's tearing it apart instead of working to build it up. I feel like this might be seen as first world problems, but I want to get out of Canada. I was born and raised here, and seen the American toxic style of politics creeping in and racism increasing. I'm a POC. It's terrifying. Not to mention, it's extremely unaffordable to live here if you aren't born to rich parents. I'll never be able to afford a house or retire, because rents and home prices are out of control. There's no way I can save a down payment on my current salary. This is what I got for going to school and working hard. A lifetime of struggle. I despise the weather here with a passion. From plus 40 in the summer to minus 40 in winter, and I can't handle the cold at all. It makes it so frustrating when people say this is Canada when I'm suffering pain and depression from the cold and dampness, as if it's easy to pick up and move just like that. I feel trapped, and co-workers literally harassing me because I like the heat, can't handle cold, is a frustrating feeling. Everyone is different, but people seem to have forgotten that. My dream was to move to Germany, since I loved living there for a year and didn't want to come back at all, but the cost of immigrating is prohibitive. Ugh, I hate my life. Of all the places my parents could have gone to, they picked this frozen wasteland. Yes, I hate Germany. Politics are not great, economy doesn't profit anyone, school system is still outdated. Doesn't care about internet connections, not always nice people, generally a worse Switzerland or maybe even Austria. Thanks you, at least I'm not alone, I'm in Germany and I hate it here. As an American who recognizes the liberties and opportunities this nation can provide for people, I can't say I hate this nation, but I am incredibly disappointed in several aspects and would be open to considering other nations to expatriate to if the opportunity and circumstances line up just right. We have arguably the best medical resources on the planet, yet we allow our healthcare system to put people in financial ruin over a hospital stay, even when said people could do very little to mitigate the necessity for health intervention in the first place. We have arguably the strongest government in the history of society, yet political inefficiency has heavily contributed to our nation lacking goodness and progress in many different areas: social climate, economic stability, law enforcement, accountability, justice, immigration, infrastructure, healthcare, racial and class conflicts. The list goes on. We can't even get this dang coronavirus under control in our nation because too many buttholes continue to politicize it rather than take necessary measures to contain it. Arguably the worst part is I don't foresee the status quo being wiped out for a long time. I love the US. It's a great country, but the recent events I don't like. It's led to us being separated in times where we're supposed to be united. I like Israel, but I hate living in war all the time. Rockets every other week, and also having to recruit to the army and having to live without my brother that is in the Air Force and coming back once every month for like a day. Now it's 2 months course covered, but I do see future here. Until world burns cause global warming. Swear if anyone mentions the United States, people in other countries would do anything just to come here for a better life. I live in Iraq. It's basically heck with extra steps. The country doesn't provide us with enough electricity, so we have to pay a monthly subscription to local generators for extremely high prices. There is no water at summer, so you have to buy water or use a water pump to not die from thirst. Nowhere is safe and explosions happens often. All that while politicians are swimming in money that doesn't even belong to them. I'm in America and there's pluses and minuses, but I don't hate it. I've struggled but never gone hungry. Always had a roof over my head and clothes to wear. Had entertainment too, so it's not all bad. I don't hate America, but I do want to live somewhere else. I also wish we didn't have such douchy fucklords ruining our country. I used to think America was a train wreck, and then I did a lot of international traveling. And you know what, America isn't so bad. By reading all the negative opinions about all the country, there is only one country left to criticize here is North Korea. Anyone from North Korea? It seems like South Korean people font use Reddit too. I don't hate the country I live in. However, I do hate its current government at the moment. Canada needs to have a hard reset on its polite with a push for less to no corruption. If this does not happen soon and the government doesn't actively fixing our housing and economic problems, Canada is going to have a mass uprising of the lower to mid class. Now I like living in America. I feel like the only people who hate living in America are those who have never lived outside of America. I live in Israel and I love it here. It's perfect, but because of Corona the economy is pretty bad. Not fun living with low budget. It's an expensive country, but as soon as everything goes back to normal, everything will be good. I want to live here for the rest of my life. In Armenia and BTW. Maybe I'd live in Armenia, but Israel is safer and a better place to live in. Yes, I hate what France is becoming. A place filled with chauvinism, a pinch of bigotry, a shitload of racism and rampant xenophobia. Casual LGBT phobia, toxic behaviors seem so close to be a norm sometimes. Fascist, they themselves openly admit being such. Parties and personalities are rising quite fast in popularity. People don't give a single frick about us ruining our planet. Culture is sometimes so uptight on rules, manners. With the studies I'm doing RN. My English that I do everything to improve. I honestly have a chance to move away from there. The more time goes, the more seriously I'm considering it. I know that some places are worse on a lot of points. I know that some countries are even worse in terms of racism and hate. Some are also way better on most if not all of these points. And that's kind of the point of moving out. Going to a place where you would prefer living. And contributing to society there. Yes, Mexico is frickin' garbage. A place with so many natural riches I can't start to count them all. With beautiful scenery and great climate. Full of resources. And filled with an amazingly ignorant population and politicians that don't care for anyone but themselves. Honestly, I've read many of the posts here. I would change my country for Malaysia or Singapore any day. My country is being infected with left-wingers from the States and Canada, creating racial tensions. Fights between men and women on top of the approximately 90 murders that happens daily, every day, all days, on top of corruption in every single institution, the lack of resources and training for the police, the dangers of the cartels and street gangs, all being covered by a population which main concern is soccer and fighting between them to impose their views. I just wanted to live in peace and work. I don't hate my country. I love it here. I just wish all the people who complain about how much they hate it here would just leave. If you live in the USA, you have been told to hate your country. But think. People die to get their children here. Think of it, and prove me wrong. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.